Hello everyone, and welcome again. Welcome to another video that I am going to discuss about AI. So AI, artificial intelligence, interesting topic, becoming a huge impact in our world today. To the point where now we are actually seeing robots being made that are literally impersonating humans. We're seeing, you know, ChatGPT being used like every single day to the point where people are using it to finish their homework, their essays, their courseworks, even their pickup lines. Uh, don't do that, also seeing people using it for art as well, for digital art. And yeah, it's just becoming what seemed to be surreal 10 years ago or more than that is actually literally happening in front of our eyes, right? And this pretty much brings up the topic that I would like to discuss is, as a Blender artist, as a self-taught designer, right? Does this mean it's over for Blender? Does it mean that AI will replace digital art forever? And the short answer I'm going to give to you is no. That is the short answer. I'm going to give you the long answer. And again, disclaimer: this is just my opinion, right? So if whoever is an AI artist, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. And you guys are willing to kind of like talk about it in the comment section below about what your opinions are, and I'm happy to always look into it. Now, the first reason why I think that it's not going to replace digital artists is because it's still got a bit left to do, right? The technology is still like, when you look at AI in itself, especially for the art, right? You can just tell it's becoming much more easier to tell whether it's real or fake. And if I compare these two images, which one would be the AI and which one isn't? And I think you can just slowly tell the difference. I think it's due to the texture, the coloring, but it's still insane. Like, it's still amazing. But I think that in the next few years, like especially maybe like in next year or so, it will just be insanely improved. But I don't think it's something that you should worry just yet, right? Which brings to the second point, and I think it's because of value. When you look at AI art, and I don't know if it's just me, when I look at it, it just feels lifeless. It just doesn't feel like, it just feels empty and soulless. It feels fake. But that's my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. That's how I feel when I look at AI in comparison to an art itself. I remember there was this clip that I saw, right, of the Studio Ghibli guy. Sorry, I forgot. I don't want to pronounce it. I know his name, but I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I'm very terrible when it comes to like pronouncing like names. My friends will just laugh at me like, "Ah, you pronounce it wrong." I'm like, okay, you got me. But I remember he did an interview, not interview, but he went to I think it's like a college, and students went up to him and said like, "Oh look, I want to show you like the work that we've done with a computer game or something." And they showed like a bunch of monsters, but that was done on AI, not by using any like real people to impose as like zombies or something. And the guy, the Ghibli guy, was like, "Bruv, like, what are you doing? Like, this is terrible idea. You're replacing human creativity, and human creativity is something that has a lot of value to it, because it's something that, as a person, as a guy like who picks up art, you're doing it as to learn a skill, a hobby, and there's hours spent to it. And I think that with value, it's just something that we live in a day and age where we want instant gratification, no matter what. There's always going to be a certain value behind it. Even today, let me guarantee you, like maybe like hundreds, I don't know when was cameras invented. I gotta have to Google it. But imagine like how people felt when cameras were invented for the first time, right? Imagine how the oil painters felt when they were like, "Oh no, like our job as a painter, as a portrait painting, whatever it is over, it's doomed, because this guy can just do it in like 2 seconds and just be like, take a picture, and that's that." But to a certain extent, I can imagine how that must have felt for them. But now, if you look today, we're seeing like oil painting and like painters being more valued than ever. Like I'm just like it's just insane. Even some art, what I thought is ridiculous, but like, in my opinion, I think is ridiculous. But I always feel like there's always value behind like real art or digital art in comparison to just AI and just relying on AI. My third point is that human creativity is something that AI won't replace, no matter how hard you try, because we as humans we're always going to be adaptable. And I think it's super like important to keep that in mind. Like, let's say for example, people think, oh wait, is that done in AI? I don't know about that. Like, how can we be certain? People can actually show you the process of how they actually did it with the tools that they use. They record themselves, they do a speed lap. So like, we as humans, like, we always have ways to adapt in situations, and I don't think AI should always like replace that. And I guess that's like all the points that I would mention. And I would say, like, overall, AI doesn't have to be a bad thing. I think people get too scared because change is something that not everyone wants to go through. I know change is very, very difficult, but as humans, like we as humans, will always be able to adapt to new changes. It's like, for example, the pandemic. It was a massive change, and I always bring up pandemic because it's a proven point that we as humans can always adapt to things, even though it was so difficult at the time. And I do think AI can be used something very reliable, such as finding aspirations, help with the work process. I do think that helps in a much faster pace as well. And I do think that AI can only replace digital art if you allow it to, if you're only just relying on just AI, right? But if you really love digital art, I don't think AI should be the reason why you should just give up. Why don't you just use it as an advantage? And sooner or later, you realize how easy the process is and how amazing it is. It's like, for example, with the camera situation, right? Yeah, why don't you just take pictures and then use that as aspirations to do your drawings? That's what people do nowadays, right? But I'm pretty sure back in the days, it was like, oh, nah, screw cameras, forget cameras forever. Like, no, like, now today, we'll be able to, be more adaptable to the point where we can use cameras and photographies as an advantage for us to do well at painting, right? So that's pretty much my opinion. I just want to know what your opinions are. Like, I'm pretty sure I left out many points. I'm trying to keep this video very, very short and quick, so don't want to take too long. But again, thanks everyone. Stay tuned to my next few videos, and adios.